Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit, Zappy here, back again with Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex Season 2. We are on episode 4, and in the last episode it was another standalone episode, or what you'd call, hold on, if I remember what these are called. I think these are known as the individuals, right? So the ones that are relatively standalone, it's like just like the same kind of thing. But it was basically revolving around the reform that is still taking place after season 1 with getting rid of Yakushima and everything like that. They're still going through those motions of trying to get those people out of here. So it was basically taking place around a guy called Tadakoro, and just getting him. There was a whole elaborate plan of making up a hacker called Kashai to get him to just basically open up his vault so they could test what the money was, like if it was all legit. It wasn't, so he was done for tax evasion and money laundering, and he is out of the picture. So that's pretty much it. Don't need to go into anything else other than that, because it was a standalone one, or a individual, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I think we're just going to get straight in episode 4 and see what we get. So, if you do want to go watch the reaction, link is in the description below. There's also the link to the full length if you want to watch it in full and not just a 10-minute cut version. Then the offer is there for you. But yes, nothing else really to talk about, so we're going to get episode 4, see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 4. Right, well, that episode featured the best action sequence I think I've seen so far, along with the one where what was it? Was it episode 21 or something of season 1, where Motoko went up against that guy in the who was part of like the drug enforcement fucking whatever it was, but he was in that massive mech. But this sequence right here, it was just so cool. It was like the Matrix, because I'm sure that's what Neo does at one point, doesn't he? Where he literally has to grab the helicopter and use the sort of ridge on the roof to like stop him from going over too. It's just just really, really cool. I just think that whole sequence just really like came together like just so nicely, so well. You know what I mean? The gun ends up pointing at her. Sure, takes away all of that sort of pressure of pulling it down, which forces it back up into Saito's like basically shot line. Just really, really cool. So yeah, he had to take out literally the pilot by shooting him through the brain, because it wasn't the AI itself that was being hacked through, which is what I originally thought, but it was actually the pilot's cyber brain. The fact that guy died with a sort of like a heart, like, I mean, he was having like almost heart palpitations, and it was weird. It's like he was almost implanted with something. So this whole idea that he was taking medication for his heart, however he's gotten this thing, it's clear that was set up from the beginning, I feel like, and whoever's done it, I feel like it's almost like, I mean, first of all, I don't trust that guy Goda at all. So yeah, I'm going to be a bit judgmental on his face, but also the way that he sort of acts, like, he doesn't act like, I feel like he doesn't, it's almost like what they were doing anyway, the Cabinet Intelligence Agency. I don't know if, as a whole, they don't truly really, I don't know if they really go through the Prime Minister for everything. I think that it's almost like they do things of their own accord. So if they're involved in whatever this is, I mean, we had the weird guys that turned up at the guys like home, right, and planted that fucking infinity symbol. I had more stuff on there, but I couldn't read, so and I think that with our detective Togusa on the case, he'll be able to link the two together, because he did at the end there pick up on it, but he didn't pick it up, so it's going to have to be a thing of like he just remembers it in the back of his mind. He'll probably see it again somewhere else and link the two. But also the fact that these two guys, I mean, Ishikawa and Togusa saw them leave, you know what I mean, so he's got to be able to pick up on it somehow. I mean, I don't know what else you can get from the guy that it was just two guys in suits, you know what I mean? It wasn't like they were wearing anything to indicate where they're from or who they work for or anything like that. So, we'll see where that goes all in due time. But this was my first dual episode, I believe. I think it's been individual for the first 3. I think this one's dual. So, it's I think somebody told me that the way that this is working now with this second season is that there is individual episodes, which are essentially standalones. there's the individual episode, which is the complex, and then there's this new dual one, which is essentially like sort of like an A and B plot, so that it kind of takes from like sort of like both and combines them, but I guess from this episode there's nothing more that I could really get other than it does seem very similar to the first episode, where it was like the individual 11 kind of thing, where there was this whole thing obviously about the refugees and everything like that, and this is obviously going back to that. I said during the episode that I think it's fucked that they use the residential refugee district as a place to train. You know what I mean? And we get a little look there of the refugees behind the fence and everything like that. Like that kid at the end, like throwing a stone at them. You know what I mean? It's like it's causing them grief. You know what I mean? They're suffering from there. Like even to take out that pilot's cyber brain, I'm pretty sure it hit like a water tank and stuff like that. So even just that to stop all of this from happening, they had to take out a water tank in order to do it. So it's still they still suffer even though they alleviated the situation. But yeah, I thought it might have had something to do with the radio tower, but it feels like the way that they were talking about it is they just didn't want the helicopters crashing into the district where there are people. So whether they're using the refugee district, a part of the district where there isn't people, I guess that is what they're doing. But still, it's I don't know, it's a bit fucked. They just use it as a kind of like a good urban war zone kind of thing, but still, it's got to be fucking scary for those refugees. I just feel like they're always getting fucked over, and I feel like in this season in particular, that's going to be the crux of it, is like everything revolving around the refugees and everything. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes of that. But yeah, so they were training. That J1 dude had basically his heart rate was increasing all the time. He was having like palpitations and stuff, and they claimed it as cardiac arrest, which, even if it was, you don't squirt blood from the mouth from that, you know what I mean? It was almost like his heart like exploded or something like that, something clearly was implanted within him. Whether he knowingly knows about it or not, we don't know, but he was taking medication for it, so it could be like, I feel like maybe he was implanted with it without his knowing, and it was just a problem that was causing him issues, so he ended up going to the doctors and they gave him medication for it or whatever. But he clearly wasn't having a good time of it. So we'll see what comes of this in further dual episodes, or if it comes back like in an individual episode, but if season one's anything to go by, then it'll be very similar in how it like sort of like you get little bits of information over time to start putting the pieces of the jigsaw together and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was circling the radio tower. I thought it was something where they were, they hacked into the the AI side of the helicopters to basically use the radio tower for something other than just trying to crash into the refugees. But like that still could be a thing. But then I feel like surely they would have picked up on like because they never mentioned it. Like they never mentioned the idea that they're using the radio towers for something. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I just don't trust that Goda guy. This Cabinet Intelligence Agency, where they're just like, he literally outed them to Aramaki about how like, it's the idea of like manipulating public opinion. It's just like you can tell like even on Aramaki's face when he's listening to that he doesn't like that. Like the fact is just like hearing the word manipulate, like, dude, come on, man, fucking hell. And this guy clearly has no problem with it. I said during the reaction as well, is like, I don't trust this guy because clearly he would be able to fix his face if he wanted to. But I guess it could be a personal choice thing where he just doesn't want to have prosthetics or anything like that. But I feel like that's something that could be fixed. He's just a very, very suspicious guy. Even the way that he was introduced, like, we didn't truly see him until, like, he just, like, came out of the blue and was like, this is my card. But yeah, I do like the fact that the, sort of, like, the vehicles and everything that they do use are, like, based around insects. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned before that tachikomas are like spiders, but, like, even the fact, like, these, jigabachis or whatever you want to call them, they're like wasps. because their tail like comes down, while they're flying, and it fires almost like a stinger from like where the minigun is. Yeah, it's just like a really cool, like, interesting design. But yeah, so we'll see what happens going forward with the infinity symbol and what that means. Even if you turned it sideways, which I think it's an infinity symbol. I think that's what it's meant to be. I don't think it's meant to be an 8 or anything like that. So we'll see. And I'd be surprised if it does have anything to do with the individual 11, considering 11 isn't infinity and it's not 8. So even if it was 8, it's it's not even 11. So there is that. But who knows? Regardless, it's all to do with the refugees and everything like that, and we know that that's something that's already in place, from episode 1. So, I feel like there is obviously a connection there in regards to that. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens going forward. But pretty much that is all I've got. Just really, really enjoyed that sequence, man. I just thought the animation was incredible. Like, you can tell that like that one scene just in of itself is just so much better than any of the animation that we got in season 1. Just was really, really cool. And anything Matrix I'm going to like anyway. So, anyway, that's all I got. So thank you everyone for watching. If you want to get access to episode 5 and 6 right now, you can do by going over to my Patreon and becoming an early access tier patron. It's $5 a month. That gives you access to shows a week early. And yeah, you can go and enjoy that if you want. There's also the full-length tier if you want to watch any of my reactions in full, not just the cut 10-minute version. And then there is the exclusive tier if you want to watch my reactions to movies and things like that. So go over there, have a look, see what they offer. But that is all I got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.